Hi, can I make a quick video about the state of the vriska kinning in this house? And by this house I mean my new room. Everyone knows this guy. This is awesome though. This is so good because it forces you to be volatile. Like it forces you to be like unreflective. I think that reflection is actually kind of like not like it's like a joy of its own. And I think people like to be reflected, like over not because overthink is just granting me the argument in the term, because it's like, oh well, if it's overthinking then it's automatically bad thinking. What I want to say is like it's different to just do a thing than to do a thing after having thought about it a lot. And I think it attributes too much. Like, I think people let them habitually think about things a lot, and then derivative of that purely habitual thinking, like, they're like, oh, all these decisions are super important. But it's like, no, you started from the thinking about it a ton, and then you thought it was important, because you don't do things that you don't think about a ton in the first place. So it's like, naturally, if you're like, if every decision takes like 20 minutes going back and forth, like there's going to be less decisions. Like if you just use this, you're already doing the thing, and you sort of like develop this more scattershot approach to doing things that I think is really cool. Like today I was like sort of choice paralysis about which like sort of topic I wanted to write on, and I just threw it in this guy, and it was like the one that I didn't want. I just did it, and I was like, oh, okay, like I just do things, I guess. Like it's like, I don't know. But it's sort of, it makes sense. Like I think that people value really hard, like thinking really hard about things in itself, and it becomes a value, like in itself, like having thought about it a lot becomes a value. But it's like you have to make this, and it's interesting, it's like the only way you can make the choice between, do I want to be someone who overthinks a lot, or do I want to be someone who like identifies with who prioritizes doing as much as possible, or not even that, just like doesn't want to bother with the thinking step and is more concerned with the doing step, and wants to just wants to just give all their attention and energy to the doing step. And the whole bit here is, if you start to think about this question, then you've already chosen your answer. So you have to like refer to a pre-reflective, like before reflection. Like the choice is made before the reflection, because it's a choice between reflection and doing. So how do you bypass the process of reflection when you actually have to make a choice? Well, it's like you pick a thing that does it for you, basically. Or like you have some process of making a determination without having to reflect. And that's like, ironically, like the 8-ball, like, well, okay, because this is a question about, do I use the 8-ball or not? But it's like, the answer is like sort of self-evident. Like it's like, I'm going unnecessarily like Inception-y here, but the point is like, yeah, you can't choose if you want to be someone who reflects or not by process of reflection. You kind of just have to choose the other option, because if you choose it by process of reflection, then you're reflecting already, and it's like you fell for it. Anyway, my camera cut out while I was recording that, so I had to re-explain it later with more epic sauce now that I've thought about it some more. And I'm lying down in bed in the darkness. And just sort of identifying as like an active force rather than a reactive one. which is interesting because it's like you think, oh, you're taking, your free will out of the equation, but it's like it's not your free will, it's your free ability to not be like to be really informed by the situation when you make your choice. Like it's not like it takes away your free will, but also gives it back in the sort of like unquestionableness with which you can act on it. So you're just like, oh, the April said so. Like I'm doing this. Like you can't use your will against yourself, right? Like it's not your will. I mean, I guess it was like it is your will in the sense that you gave this a limited amount of options, but this sort of guarantees the like unquestionability of it, and you can just be like, no, I don't have to like react to myself here. I just am gonna like that Magic April said, lol. Like, but the other thing that's really cool is that it doesn't actually determine it all the time, and like there's times where so it doesn't actually let itself be a crutch either, because it actually like gives fucking answers like you can't ask me this yet, or like yet cannot foretell. Because I never use this as like a predictive device. I just say like, should I do this, yes or no, and then it will say some shit like indication, say yes. But it's just so interesting because it's like it's not replacing your will. It doesn't replace your will because it's like you still have to. It doesn't. I mean, sorry. It does replace your will. Well, it specifies like you specify the choices for it. So you've done most of the work, right? You're saying like, oh, these are all the things I care about. Which one do I act on? And it sort of like does that last bit where it just like turns it into acting. So you can't like indulge in the questioning process. It's like sort of like, majority of the specification of like what will I do today is actually really natural because it's just like, what do I care about? And usually you can only think of like the 6 things you care about. But then there's like, most of the time is actually spent in the useless part where it's like, you start to indulge in like, oh, what would be the most perfect? And I think that is when like, the consciousness just becomes like bourgeoisie almost. Like not in the like political sense, but in the like caricature of like, oh, what would I do? Like, the bourgeoisie, the sense that everyone thinks is embarrassing and not just like socialists think is embarrassing. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about this one in vriska. The second one is actually my own invention because I was like, what the fuck am I meant to do with these fucking awesome dice? Because I love these dice. But I was like, how do I turn this, how do I make this into an instrument of like vriska-ing? And because I think like just the 8-ball and stuff is like very just like, I don't know, it makes sense, right, that she wants such a thing because it's like, I want like a guarantor of my will. I want a thing that proves that what I want is unconditional. And like her will is so strong that when it doesn't give her like that unconditional ability to act, like this unquestioning guarantor of like of her entitlement or whatever, it's like she just destroys it and gets another one. Like, but obviously I'm not gonna destroy my ball. I don't think the thing is like, it's not that I don't agree with what vriska does there. Like I don't think she's ruining the game of the 8-ball. I just think her will is like so strong that it the game she's like transcends the game of the 8-ball. And I just don't think I'm actually at that point where I wanna like just completely use it in a meta way where it's like you're still aware of this idea of like making your decisions unquestionable and like fully committing to everything. And so like the 8-ball symbolically represents that, or like it represents it in a sort of ritualistic sense. Like it's like it reminds you, yeah, my will is unquestionable, or my will is like not object to reflection, but it's like fucking, but then functionally it is like complete free will, I guess. But anyway, this thing, I'm just gonna explain this. So I want to know what to do with my cerulean octet, and I was like, like obviously I don't want it to be like just like some stupid like numerical thing. Like I don't know. I can't even fucking articulate what I didn't want it to be, but I'll tell you what I made it into. So each dice is allocated to one of like 8 people, right? Like 8 people in my life who I like care about and like am having sort of like emotional arcs with. And it's basically just however high the number is, it's like how important or how like on the lookout I have to be for that friendship. So like how like aware and how thinking about this friendship should I be throughout the week or like throughout the like period of time while this is rolled, because I'm just going to leave this on my floor and it's just going to be like, this is the current setup, the cerulean setup. So I've got like 7s and 1s and like 2s and 3s and 4s. And like again, this isn't like a prediction thing. It's just like, what do these things do? It gives you this like unquestionable sense of confidence, because it's more important, right, to just be determined than to because determinacy or being determinate about things has effects regardless of whether or not the determination is informed. Like for example, these 7s, like I just ended up sending text messages to people when I just wouldn't have, even though I obviously would have wanted to, but I'm just not, like, the problem isn't, like, that I don't have reason to, act on my care for these people. And the care is the reason. It's just, like, you need that, like, extra thing somehow that just makes it, like, happen. And I just think that that's, like, this kind of, like, X factor of just, like, determinateness, where it's, like, just pick, just like that last leg. I said it before with the 8 ball. It's like somehow covering this last leg. And it's like, and obviously it's like, text everyone, right? If I like, if it was just like, it's somehow like the, irregularity in the distribution is really important. Because you could just say, like, just have a sign on your wall that says, like, remember to care about people. But I think that's kind of unhuman. Like, not that it's not human to care about people. I think it's not like will to be so nondescript. Because it's like, if you just say a sign like saying, like, remember to text the people you care about, right? It's like, it makes it general somehow. And in making it general, it doesn't feel... Like, this is not general, right? Like, I got 1s, right? Like these people who I got 1s and 2s for are like, this isn't what I prioritize. Like, it has the shape of a will, right? It has the shape of, like, priority. It's like, some things are, like, going to be important this week and some things aren't. If I was just, like, all 8s, right? Like, imagine the day I do get all 8s and I'm just like, I have to just really fucking go all out socially this week. Oh, shit. I'm backing it up. Okay, I remember. I remember who got what. Yeah. 7. Some guy I'm gonna see tomorrow got a 4, which is interesting. No, maybe you got a 3. Yeah, because you got the 4. There's a lot of 3s and there's a lot of 7s. Yeah. And you got a 6. Yeah, that's true. Okay. But yeah, it's like, if it's just everyone gets 8s all the time, there's no shape to it, I think. And I really don't know what to say about the shape. Like, it's like, I could probably articulate it given enough time, but it's sort of like, if you, I guess, in your mind, right, everyone gets special attention this week. It's like, it becomes like a chore almost. Or it just doesn't stick out to you because it's just not specific. Like the high rolls here, like that's like 3 of my friends' faces. I don't think if I saw a sign that like remember to text people, I would think of anyone's face in particular. But I don't know. We can talk about this more. I can think about this more. I just want to make this video because I'm trying to make a video every day now. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to edit this one because